Hello and welcome to another episode of Disney Movie Investigation. If this is your first time watching, welcome to the show. On each episode, we take a look at a movie that is featured on Disney+. On this episode, we are going back to the 1980s as we take a look at Bachelor Party starring Tom Hanks. And stay tuned for our bonus episode as we take a look at the history of Pleasure Island in Walt Disney World. And if you are enjoying these videos, please do hit that subscribe button. That way you'll be notified with each new video. But for now, sit back and enjoy this episode of Disney Movie Investigation. So like I said, today we are covering Bachelor Party, and this movie was released on June 29th, 1984, and it was directed by Neil Israel. The screenplay was written by Neil Israel and Pat Profitt. It was distributed by 20th Century Fox, and it had a budget of $7 million with a box office return of $38.4. In terms of the production, the idea for the film came from an actual bachelor party thrown by producer Ron Moeller and a group of friends for producer Bob Israel. Several of the members of the cast and crew were at this party, and the filming began to take shape after the success of movies like Police Academy. Actors considered for the lead role were Jim Carrey, Howie Mandel, and Tim Robbins, and to help promote the film, a soundtrack was released in June of 1984. So let's take a look at the cast. So we have Tom Hanks, who plays Rick Gasco, Tawny Kitaen, who plays Debbie Thompson, Adrian Zmed, who plays Jay O'Neill, Robert Prescott, who plays Cole Witter, Wendy Jo Serber, who plays Dr. Tina Gasco, William Temper, who plays Stan Gasco, Jord Gizzard plays Ed Thompson, and Barbara Stewart plays Mrs. Thompson. In terms of the plot, Rick Gasco is about to marry Debbie Thompson. Her parents hate him. Her old boyfriend hates him. All the friends decide to give him a bachelor party of all bachelor parties in an expensive hotel with booze, adult movies, and hookers. As the players catch wind of the elements of the party, each adds a little monkey wrench in to create a memorable night of chaos. So in terms of trivia, there's not a whole lot about this movie. It was kind of a one and done type thing. However, a direct-to-video sequel was made 24 years later called Bachelor Party 2: The Last Temptation. However, none of the original characters are in the sequel, and it really has nothing to do with the original. On October 21st, 2014, ABC announced that they were developing a TV show inspired by the film. However, nothing really came about of it. In terms of recommending this movie, this is not my type of movie that I normally watch, as it's kind of an 80s raunchy comedy, which I don't really like. A lot of the jokes have not aged well, including the treatment of women as objects, and there is a scene of a donkey doing drugs and eventually passes away that is not really well acceptable in today's society. On the positive, you can see the beginning of Tom Hanks as a acting superstar. He's very expressive and he really does carry the movie. Overall, if you like 80s comedies, you may like it, but be warned, there is a lot of nudity and there is a lot of drug and sex related humor. So let's move on to our bonus story as we take a look at Pleasure Island. Pleasure Island was located in Walt Disney World, and it was a dining and entertainment district which opened on May 1st, 1999. In terms of the backstory, Pleasure Island was created to allow Disney to offer an experience similar to competing Church Street Station. Disney actually created a backstory of Pleasure Island based on fictitious owner Meriwether Adam Pleasure. Pleasure was an industrialist and explorer who moved his family to Florida to start a sailmaking and yacht construction business. He would enjoy throwing parties for his employees and friends after hours. He would tragically get lost at sea, and his sons would unsuccessfully try to take over the company. The island would be destroyed in a storm, and Disney would rediscover the island's ruins and establish a nightclub district to honor Pleasure's memory. For those of you that want more in-depth with this backstory, there is an excellent video on YouTube under the Defunctland channel that goes into a lot more detail. In terms of attractions at Pleasure Island, in terms of shopping, there was Superstar Studios, which was a make-your-own video store, Jessica's of Hollywood, which would sell lingerie, and this store featured a Jessica Rabbit sign, And it was a 32-foot neon Jessica Rabbit, and her leg would be swinging back and forth, moving with sequins hanging over the building. Avigator Supply, which was a gift shop located near the Adventurers Club that sold aviation and adventure gear, along with Adventurer Club and Indiana Jones merchandise. Changing Altitudes, which was a store that sold trendy clothing and unusual gifts. Doodles, which was the official Pleasure Island memorabilia, graphic t-shirts, and trendy gifts. Hammer and Fire, which was sold handcrafted jewelry, accessories, and unusual gifts. The Mouse House, which sold Disney t-shirts, plush, and gifts. Suspended Animation, which sold Disney animated cells, posters, prints, and lithographs. There was DTV, which was a modern Disney fashion store, from silks and sequins to painted jeans. And Music Legends. This sold clothing, books, music, and video memorabilia. In terms of restaurants, there was Fulton's Crab House, which was a seafood restaurant on the River Road, originally named the Empress Lily. The Fireworks Factory, which was a pyrotechnics-themed restaurant operated by Levi Restaurants. The backstory here was that Merriweather Pleasure manufactured fireworks in the building until one of his cigars created an explosion. Merriweather's Market, which was a food court that operated from 1989 to 1993. Planet Hollywood, which is still there to this day. Hill Street Diner, which served pizzas, hot dogs, deli sandwiches, french fry salads, so kind of a quick service. And then there was D Zits, which was a desserts, cappuccinos, and espressos. In terms of the main attraction, which was the clubs, the first one was Videopolis East, and this opened in 1989, playing new wave music on 170 video music screens. In 1990, it was renamed Cage, adding more progressive music, and unfortunately this would close in 1992. There was 8 Tracks, which was replacing Videopolis, and it was a 70s and 80s music dance club. There was the most famous, was being the Adventurers Club, and this was a 1930s British explorers club that featured memorable characters performing improv shows. There was the Neon Armadillo, which is a club featuring live country music bands, and opened between 1989 to 1998 before being replaced by the BET Soundstage, and this was a hip-hop and R&B dance club operated by Black Entertainment Television. Celebrate Tonight was a outdoor dance party featuring DJs and cast members known as the Party Team, and this was focused on children and families. There was the Comedy Warehouse, which was a nightclub featuring an improv comedy troupe. Originally, it did feature a parody show called Forbidden Disney, but this switched to improv shows to keep the show fresh. Mannequins was a techno dance multi-level club which featured a revolving lighted dance floor and human mannequin performers. Motion, which was a current top 40 dance club. Wild Horse Saloon, which was a country dance music club and a barbecue restaurant. Pleasure Island Jazz Company, which basically was a jazz dance club. The Rock and Roll Beach Club, which was a rock-themed dance club featuring live bands. XZFR Rock and Roller Dome. This was a short-lived club where guests could strap on roller skates to rock and roll. This also served alcohol, so you can guess why it closed. There was the West End Stage, which is currently still there today, and there was the AMC Pleasure 24. So this was a huge deal to the Disney company as well, because they would actually have live performances featuring New Kids on the Block, Christina Aguilera, Johnny Cash, NSYNC, and Savage Garden. There were, however, several changes. In March of 2006, attendance was declining, so Disney decided to renovate the island. The West End Stage was dismantled and renovated, and the clubs were required that guests be at least 21. Minor guests could still enter the Comedy Warehouse and the Adventurers Club. And then finally, in June of 2008, Disney announced that all of the clubs would close to make way for more family-oriented entertainment. September 27, 2008 was the last night for Pleasure Island, and Disney announced that the area would become Hyperion Wharf. Hyperion Wharf, however, would never develop, and currently the area is known today as The Landing. So I've been to the Adventurers Club while it was still open. It was one of the highlights, definitely fun times. Kind of sad that these clubs aren't there because it made it unique to kind of Disney and that you were able to have these unique experiences. I don't think, unfortunately, Pleasure Island or The Landing or Disney Springs, unfortunately, it's more restaurants and dining now. Restaurants, dining, and shopping. It's a shame that this doesn't exist anymore because it was a really good time. So thank you so much for joining us on Disney Movie Investigation. I would love for anyone to please leave a comment below on what they think of the movie Bachelor Party, as well as if you were able to experience one of the clubs at Pleasure Island, what was your favorite memory? So as we look forward to our next video, we are going to look at another Disney comedy as we look at Bedtime Stories starring Adam Sandler. So until next time, I hope you have a magical day, and we will see you real soon.